So if you can't stop to smell the roses for this video, go ahead and skip forward to about the 2-minute 45-second, 3-minute mark, and I'll go through how to assemble all of this. My word of advice, if you listen to anything out of this video, is be careful with this spring. This spring is much smaller than the original one that you're probably used to. When you go to pick it up or squeeze it, it just will boom, fly out from in between your fingers to no man's land. It also likes to roll in every direction that you don't want it to roll. It is directional, so one end is larger than the other. I'll explain that. Just be careful with this spring. It's easy to lose, and you'll be on your hands and knees in places you don't want to be in the shop trying to find it. All right, so in this video, we're going to get down and dirty about check valves, specifically 60K check valves. What does that mean for you? Well, you have two options when it comes to check valves. One option is the standard OEM option. You have 2 wrench flats. Let me get my pointer. You have 2 wrench flats on here. This is where the high pressure tubing connects. This threads into the check valve body, threads in right there. And inside of here you have an outlet spring, and then you have the outlet poppet. This is a used one. Those sit in there just like this. Those sit together just like so. So you put this does go in a certain direction with the hole. The cross hole faces outward. The other end slides into the spring. The end with the hole in it slides into the spring, and then that slides into the outlet adapter. Then this just, pulses back and forth however many millions of times until it fails and it needs replacing. So what's inferior about this design? I don't know, watch the video and find out. But here we have an upgraded 2-piece outlet design. So we have the seat, spring, poppet, and then we have the poppet seat. The seat stays the same whether you're using this style or this style. This remains the same, goes inside of here. This assembly is what's different. So let's take a look at this. So what's different about this assembly? Well, you can see there's 3 components instead of 2. This spring is actually a lot smaller in size and is actually softer. Here's the original spring in comparison. Smaller in size, spring diameter is smaller. And if I can show a comparison, I'm putting the same amount of force, and the spring on the right is just much easier to compress. Much, much easier. So what this allows is for better sealing on the outlet side of the check valve with less leak, cross leak and leak back issues. So with this setup, I'm going to show you how it actually goes together. Because if you're like me, you may have screwed it up a time or two because it's late, or you're in a rush, or you just didn't know because you didn't bother to read the directions. So that's what this video is for. So you have this outlet adapter, this piece, this seat, looks like a little barrel, slides down in there. Just like that, and it sits down in there. So then you have 2 pieces left. You have this spring, and the spring is actually, if you can get a good view of that, the coil is larger on one end than the other. And that larger end sits inside that little pocket right there. Sits nicely in there. So what I always do is I take the large end, grab it with my fingers, stick it down in there. So now the spring is over that seat, and you have the outlet poppet, it slides in just like that. Yep. So that's how this goes together. You can see I've got it, this is a piece of aluminum TIG wire. I don't know, it's 6 or 8 inches long. It's not exactly sturdy, but I can push that really easy. So then these come into picture. This assembles the same way as any other check valve. intensifier check valve, that is. I always take it like this. That slides down in there. Let's back up. Which way does it go in? Good question. One end has a radius, the other end is straight, and the end that is straight is actually hatched on the face. When you install it, you put the radius down, just like that, and you want to be able to see the hatched face. And then you assemble these, just like this. Once these are assembled, you'll hold 1.25 inches here, and you'll put your 1-inch crow's foot here, and this torques to 65 foot-pounds. Click, and you're done. And now it's assembled. But let's back up a little bit. If you're really paying attention, one thing we forgot on all of this is the infamous blue lube. Ah, yes. So let's drag that into the picture. The infamous blue lube. So the way that I assemble these is I will go ahead and get all my pieces together. Big end facing me on the spring. And I won't put this one in just yet. What I will do is take my little 332 filler rod. I'll put a little bit on there. And what I'll do is just kind of dab it around. Spin that on itself. Drop that down in there. So now, blue lube is also required, let's see, right around here on this face. So I'll take a little more. Put on my finger. Just get a nice thin film. And there we go. Now the next issue is you don't want to get it down in that bore because then your outlet needs to stick in there. So I always take my filler rod, I just kind of scrape along the edge, wipe off any excess that might be in there. Then take this part, carefully install it. There you go. And you just want to check it one more time to make sure. Still working good. I'll take a final bit and I will coat the threads. Once I've coated the threads, now we are ready for final assembly. Torque to 65 foot-pounds, 1.25 inches, and 1 inch. And that concludes this video of how you assemble a 60K check valve with the 2-piece outlet upgrade. Hopefully this helps somebody out, how to put these together, how to assemble them, how to identify them, and what the differences are. Anyways, thanks for watching.